evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Pacific Rumble. I am your host, Christian Toma. To my left is David Williams. Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. And as always, go ahead and follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
And as always, if you haven't already, go to battleviewer.com.
Doing it
for the same Twitch chat and stream that you know and love, plus YouTube and Twitter, directly accessible there from the interface. As we always like to say around here.
Yeah, it's always
better on battleviewer.com. I also like to point out, this is the first time you guys have gotten to see our actual full stage.
That
right.
logo
right there. That's been there the whole time.
Whole year. It was a secret. It was like an Easter egg that we put in.
Well, it was our personal hot tub.
Yeah.
And
wargaming.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily wargaming. Well, it was more Donovan, our producer. This is like nix the hot tub.
Yeah.
And just leave the cover on because we had a wargaming cover.
Yeah.
Let's go to the brackets.
Let's go to the brackets right now because we are getting ready, ladies and gentlemen, for our third battle of the night. It is going to be Noble versus Caren Tiger. Caren Tiger did defeat Kong Du in the first battle, so they are now facing against Noble, who is, as you guys know, the WGLNA champions from this Season 1 2015 to 2016 Gold League. But before we get too far into that, we have another question for you guys who have been paying attention at home. So again, at WGLNA on Twitter, tweet at us, what are the two teams from the APAC server? Again, the question is, what are the two teams from the APAC server? Tweet your answers to @WGLNA for a chance to win the T-34 Premium Tank, including a garage slot. So, now we are into the battle. Caren Tigers versus Noble. And we're into the tank picking. David, let's see what we've got here.
Well, for Caren Tigers, we have 3 T-54 lightweights, a T-32, the Spähpanzer,
the Panzer,
RU-251, RU-251, an LTTB and an E-25. Caren Tigers,
this
E-25.
They're loving it. Absolutely loving it. Noble still has yet to pick. Looks like they're really thinking this one through, trying to decide there on your screen. We have some of the members for Noble. Again, if you guys have been with us from the beginning, you saw them in the show match against EL Gaming, who just won the last match against High Voltage. We saw Noble come out of a victory already, so they have already played 5 games this evening, and they've had to now wait. And like we were talking about a little earlier, just that waiting can be, it's like a mental stress that can put on these players. They just have to wait and wait and wait for their time. But now Noble's time has come, and let's see how they can face off against Caren Tiger, who also had to play earlier on. So both these teams are on even footing. Noble Esports, though, in my opinion, and kind of looking at the history, does have that championship under their belt. Caren Tiger has gotten 3rd place in 2 APAC events, and now they're trying to prove that they can make it to the top. Maybe this is their year. If they beat Noble, they are 1 step closer, but they do have to go through the NA champions.
So if we didn't have the map right there, we would already know exactly what we're playing. For Noble, 3 T-54 lightweights, a Spähpanzer RU-251, 2 T-32s, and AMX-12T. What does that say? It says steps to me. That's what it says. 2 T-32s and a bunch of lights sounds like steps. And as we know, that's a map that Noble loves to play.
Yep.
Because they're pretty great at it. It's one of those things where it's kind of like we were talking about with the Russians and their base strats, right? It's like, hey, Noble has some fancier versions of what they do, but for the most part, when they play a new team that hasn't really played against them, or basically when they're not playing somebody like High Voltage, who knows them very well, they're like, okay, check out our base strategy, have fun.
Yeah, well, we're about to see that base strategy right now, ladies and gentlemen, as our 3rd matchup to decide who the final finalist will be for the Pacific Rumble is about to begin. Noble versus Caren Tigers. Let's get right into it and see what these opening startups are going to look like.
See it fanning out here a little bit. Caren Tigers going to bias themselves in both directions. This is new for us. Noble, we can pretty much cover that side of the map. We know what's happening. They're going to clear out the east a little bit, send the RU-251 back to the 0 line, check while they do that, scouting to make sure everything is okay. Put the 12T out there to make sure they're okay on the inside of this ridge that goes right along here. And then they will just retreat back and wait. that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean,
Anything special?
The entire time. Just looking over here. Again, while we have some time, checking out this sick custom paint job for both of these teams, Caren Tigers and Noble as well.
You know, we haven't really seen the double tier 7 meta on steps in North America, and I think it's probably for a good reason. I think you need that introductory HP and strength to be able to push through a defense like Noble has. As we discussed in the past, unless you know Eastern play very, very well, you can work your way through those hills. The really only answer to what Noble does is either to fast cap and get really lucky, but you know there's Marsh and Germ and those guys, and they know how to stop that, or to bring in artillery and hit your shots, which even high voltage wasn't necessarily able to do.
Sure.
So we got Noble's pick. Be interested to see what Caren Tigers' pick is as we move forward. I gotta say though, Caren Tigers, that sweet paint job swag.
Black and red, man.
It's better than it's the best one.
Yeah.
It's the best one. Although Noble's is pretty cool too,
Yeah.
honestly.
Nobles blends in with the map right now, which is great. They got that going for them for sure.
Yeah, I mean they've got you can got their logo, nice and visible on the side. Caren Tigers has theirs as well, but this one is black, yellow, and orange together.
Yeah, beautiful color
Just
combination. There's someone did the research on what colors match. Now over on the side of Caren Tigers, we have Aki and Reno there in those two T-54 lightweights pushing over the railroads. Aki going to go ahead and move over to maybe some of the positions we've seen before in that A3 area, the A4 area. The question is, no, he's actually just going to keep going. He's going to try to find any team members of Noble that he possibly can. Noble still, look at that spread, though, David, across the entire ridge over on the eastern side there. No one is going to get over on that side. And Caren Tiger really, they have to find a way to break what Noble's doing, but we just know they're so good at it.
Caren Tigers taking a pretty standard set of positions, pretty standard strategy, albeit a little bit weaker than things we've seen used in the past, just because of those tier 7s. Dekamori getting ruined early.
Yeah.
Halfway gone on the T-32. That's no small problem for Caren Tigers and the problem and what they're trying to do here. That LTTP can't really stick around and do a lot of the stuff that the tier 8s that usually do the fast cap do, because he has less hit points overall. He's just going to get shreked really quickly. The RE-251 down there playing a little bit of police control, making sure Noble isn't coming around behind him. Which is smart, because Noble likes to do that. Everybody likes to do that, because it's the right thing to do. The E-25, again, they just love using it for this. And this is a perfect example right here. If we can get a cut over that E-25, this is why they're using it. Like we talked about, when you get into the nitty-gritty of the mechanics, you can find out some weird things. Like the E-25 can't really be spotted unless you get really close to it with a certain set of equipment on almost any map, because the camo value is ridiculous. He is just chilling out there in the open.
It's like, yeah,
and he can't be spotted. And look how many light tanks there are around here. Just all of them should be able to see him. Most of the time, you would think.
That's amazing.
But this tank, nah, doesn't apply to this tank.
Done the research. Indeed, Caren Tigers do love that tank, the E-25. The question is, how effective is it going to be against what Noble is doing?
So it works. They're keeping them lit. They have all sorts of interesting advantages from it. The big question is it worth the additional point in one tank and less point to another, essentially? Is it worth bringing 2 tier 7s just for that vision?
Oh.
I'm going to go with no. I don't think it is. Not on this map.
Fast cap, looks like coming out there for Caren Tigers.
Close.
Caren Tigers, 13 seconds now on the clock. It's going to be up to Noble to find the resets. A nice shot there going out onto Aki in his T-54. Middleton taking some damage in return, but look at those resets coming up for Noble. They've done this 1,000 times. Like, you want to go on the cap? Fine, do it. Pressure us out, and we'll show you what we've got. Shino being dropped extremely low. Aki about to go down on that T-54. One more shot, and he's going to be vanquished. 55 points of HP. Dekamori, 556. And that T-32, like Tier 8, going to pick up German, that AMX-12T. So that is a tank falling for Noble, but Canadian Impact picking up Poly. It is a 1-for-1 exchange with only a minute and 55 seconds on the clock. I mean, Caren Tigers really don't have much of an option but to push now and hope that they can win a head-to-head battle against Noble.
Commander J versus Reno. Can Commander J come back? Will he get a little bit of bailout help from one of his teammates? Looks like Donova is considering coming over to help him, or at least clean up Reno from what is left after Commander J has this somewhat of a standoff one-on-one, but Commander J working on trying to close it out.
He might be able to get it. Let's see if he can get lucky. Noble to corner the corner. There's a shot. If Reno can, no, he does. Reno gets the shot up. Commander goes down. Dono coming out though, like a boss. Gonna get that redemption shot for his teammate. Now coming through, 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the clock. And now we have the fight going over on the eastern cap here. Marsh going to take down Shino, and that T-54, and just 4 tanks remain for Caren against the 5 for Noble Gaming. Canadian Impact and Marsh full health again against Obelisk in that E-25, who now is really not much of a help. RE-251 pushing up, 55 seconds on the clock, and Noble Gaming looks like they have this one in the bag, as we were very confident that they would. Steps is definitely, like you were saying, their map. They know what to do, and it's really hard to kind of break the defense that they've established. They're so well-rounded.
Absolutely, and we're about to pass the point of GG. Absolutely guaranteed. I don't think there's enough time to kill all these tanks anyways, just in sheer DPM per HP.
Gotcha.
But right now, it's possible for them to even cap.
Right when you said that, Marsh picks up another tank from Caren Tigers. 23 seconds on the clock. A nice little drift there coming up from that T-54 as well. And that will be GG for Caren Tigers. Obelisk going to be going down one more shot from, looks like it might be a Kula. Going to pick that one more shot. Canadian back, going to finish that one. Milton taking down Aki. Just Dekamori remains in that T-32, but it doesn't matter. 3 more seconds, now down to 2. Canadian back's gonna shut it down. He doesn't wait for the timer. He wants to get this over with. A nice victory coming out for Noble with 5 tanks remaining at the end. Noble, don't take him to steps. Just don't.
Don't do it.
Now, if you were Caren Tigers, when does the research come in? Where you're like, hey, this team's really good on steps. Let's not take them there. Why wouldn't you ban this map away from them? What is the reason why you possibly would want to go against them?
There isn't one. Unless you're afraid of all the other maps more, there isn't one. They either think they're really good on this and they can do it, or they didn't do research.
Or it's a mixture of the both.
Or it's like I just said, they just prefer it over other maps.
Gotcha.
It's still a bad one, but well, bad for them,
Like,
but either way,
it's a necessary evil.
It just seems like there's almost no map that should be banned more than steps.
Against Noble.
Against Noble.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what we just saw there was amazing. The Caren Tigers even tried to put the cap fast on, and Noble's like, great, you drew us into it. And they shut them down immediately. Now, normally, what I remember seeing from the Season 1 in the beginning, the strategy was to have a team do what Caren Tiger was doing and put that pressure on so that when Noble would push up, they would get punished from multiple tanks that were able to light up those tanks when they popped up. Why doesn't that work on Noble?
They don't have the guns. They brought 2 tier 7s instead of tier 8s.
Gotcha.
Their T-32 got shreked and they didn't have the right positioning.
Done.
It's just it just wasn't the strategy or a strategy that can work on this at all. Shouldn't work ever.
Right. Well, there you go. The question is, will they learn from their mistakes, or will Caren Tigers continue to walk into what Noble has just laid for them? I mean, definitely setting up the standards here. They've already won one match. Commander J on your screen, just doing a little bit of adjusting of his glasses and getting ready to go into the next battle. The rest of Noble ready and waiting. Get in the back. We got Milton with that hat on, looking cold steel as always. I mean, we saw them here on the finals. A very well put together team. A lot of fun, those guys. One thing I do also want to point out too is just kind of the air of them. They got they got serious when it was game time. When it was time to play, it was time to play. But also in the downtime, they just had fun. They enjoyed where they were. They had a blast here, and I'm sure that they're doing the same over right now in Tokyo, Japan, where this is coming from you live. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now into the tanks. Let's see if Caren Tigers learn from their mistakes and will switch something up, or if they're going to continue to try the same strat.
Caren Tigers with 3 T-54s so far, an RU-251, a T-32, and 2 LTTBs. So no E-25.
Nope.
Interesting. They really like the double 7s. Seems like they do it every single map and every single strategy. It's just a very strange take on things for me.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Noble, 3 T-54s, 2 T-32s, an RU-251, and a 12T.
Look at that.
No surprise. They don't need to change.
Broke, don't fix it.
They beat everyone with that. So why would they stop?
Yeah.
So one more exercise in steps defense from Noble.
Yeah.
And
Seriously.
a chance for Caren Tigers to do something that people have not really done that much before.
What is that, David?
Beat Noble on the offensive side of steps.
That's right.
It's happened.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen that
It
much.
was a fluke. That's what it was.
Certainly never happened to 2 LTTPs, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see how Caren Tiger does utilize those 2 LTTBs. Ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to wonder with me anymore because we're into the next battle. Caren Tiger's still on offense. Noble's still on defense. They're up 1-0. Let's see if they can make it 2-0 or if Caren can tie it up 1-1. Let's get right into it and take a look at the opening movements from both of these teams.
Moments here, we will see them come out just for a refresher. Those are the lineups in the final seconds of the countdown before everybody starts getting their initial deployments. And here we go. And Tigers looking very similar to what they did last time. They're going to move that T-32 up the middle. T-4s over the top. LTTB for pressure. LTTB for containment at the bottom, along with an RU-251. Another 54 lightweight in the middle for a little bit of enforcement and clear guard for the T-32. That one LTTB that replaced the E-25 should have a little bit more freedom to scout the eastern side, the hillside, to get them the avenues that they need to actually get in and break Noble. Meanwhile, the RU-251 is just backing them up so we can get those scouting runs. Perhaps they'll find a way in and they can rotate everybody through here now. But in the meantime, I think it's going to be the way it was before. And Caren Tiger's just hoping they don't get ruined while trying to do that again. Because last time they lost half a T-32.
Yeah, before they even got in the cap.
Real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Now doing a little bit better here. We got Dekamori in that T-32, I believe, yet again, making his position. A minute has elapsed on the clock now to 5:56. Noble just ready and waiting. Not as a big of a spread down the kind of the ridge here over on the eastern side as last time. But we do have the LTTB from Caren Tigers pushing, getting a little bit closer. Looks like he's about to drop down there over on the side. The question is, how useful is that tank going to be? You have Kool here just sitting in the bush, getting just ready and waiting to, when anyone is spotted, to pop out, take the shots that he needs, and get back to cover. Again, this is just clockwork for them. The places that they're in are just so solid, are always the same. Do you think bringing an artillery would help in this sense on offense to try to just whittle them down? Or is that just
theoretically sure, but they got to get consistent spots in the T-32s, and Noble over time they've poked a lot less with the 32s as they've refined all the little details about how they do this.
Sure, yeah.
I don't really feel like it's a viable option anymore. I think IS-3s and a 32 and a kind of a light flex force, perhaps with some 1390s, which are a gamble, but a nice little front load introduction. And then you go east and you got to work the hills and get in there and get it done. And it's not easy. It's the only way to do things. Yeah,
well, I kind of want to talk about, just like you're saying, the T-32s, their armor in particular, because I watched Militant here take, I think it was 5 or 6 shots from the T-54, and he maybe went down maybe a seventh of a bar of HP. I mean, he was bouncing shots, he was just taking nothing. So, I mean, is that why they brought these tanks, or is that shots coming
the T-32 in particular?
Yeah.
Oh, it's just a bouncy turret in particular.
Gotcha.
And the rest of it has weird tendencies to absorb shots or bounce them in strange places. These monstrous tracks in particular are just a shot value, especially with heat. You shoot in there and just vanishes.
Well, great. I mean, definitely a very smart and wise tank to bring for exactly the job they put it to do. It's just pop over on the hill, take the shots that they need, and then back off. It looks like Commander Jay getting a little bit aggressive here in his T-54.
Same response.
Popping over the side. Yeah, looking like he's going for Reno, but right there are 2 tanks waiting for him. 216 points of damage here. Let's see if he can hold on. Canadian Impact taking down Polly. A beautiful pickup. The LTTB already fallen for Caren Tigers here. And now we have Reno versus Commander Jay. 570 guns to Commander, 245 into Reno, backing him up against Hill. Noble, Commander Jay might be going down here. One more shot. Here comes Dodo, the response from Noble. This time not just one, but multiple members of Noble coming over to save their friend. The shots are on to Reno. A couple shots miss, but he's extremely low. One more and he will go down. But Reno gets another kill. Marsh goes down right before, and it looks like Reno might be able to make it out there. That is 2 tanks fallen for Noble, but Aki getting absolutely destroyed in that T-54 lightweight. 976 points of damage there. Dodo gonna pick that one up. Canadian Impact finds Reno finally in the end. He does not make it out of there, and now it is Shino against Dodo and Akula. Meanwhile, over on the side, an LTTB and an RU-251, as well as Dekamori in that T-32 going against the 2 T-32s and the AMX-12T. Noble's Dodo takes down Shino. A beautiful pickup there. Battle buddies for life, Nakulo and Dodo are. And now just 3 tanks remain for Caren Tigers against the 5 for Noble. Yet again, this looks like this is going to be Noble's game to pick this one up. But not if Obelisk can have anything to say about it. He takes down a member in that LTDB, but Canadian Impacts just shuts him up immediately. Now Definitely the RU-251 remain. Definitely shot. He will go down. Looks like it's going to be Militant. Might be able to pick this one up. He does. The T-32 taking down the T-32. Brother fights brother. It only makes sense. Dodo going down the RU-251 from the RU-251. I'm seeing a pattern here, ladies and gentlemen. 2 minutes left on the clock and 3 on 1. This is definitely over for Caren Tigers. Noble just, again, showing the dominance on this map, on steps, on defense, and now I'm excited to see how they flip it around. Will Caren Tigers be able to have the same success that Noble has, or does Noble just know this map so well that they will be able to continue this pressure and walk all over this opposing team? Only time will tell, but in a minute and 35 seconds, this match will end, getting us one step closer. What a shot coming out! I believe that was from Canadian Impact there on that RU-251 on the run. For about 500 points of damage. Akula now running just to finish this one off. Let's see what happens. Shots are exchanged. More damage going into Caren Tigers. One more. Is he actually going for the ramp? No, he just misses him. Circles around, takes the shot, and that is going to be Noble. Picking up another victory now, making it 2-0 against Caren Tigers here in our 3rd match of the Pacific Rumble. Again, the winner of this will go on to face off against EL Gaming's for $45,000. And right now, Noble is showing that they want it just a little bit more than Caren Tigers.
I gotta say, you know, out of the finals, some of the big players I noticed for Noble were Marsh, obviously, getting
Always.
huge moments in his tier 6 play and whatnot. Although he's moved into a tier 8 now, which is a little bit different, a little bit strange to me, because he was so good at it. I don't see why you'd pull him out. Dodema, who is incredibly consistent throughout the entire day, which is hard to do under these circumstances.
we talked about so many.
And then Canadian Impact,
sure,
shining like we talked about a lot earlier.
Yep.
And this time around, the one player I'm noticing step more and more into an authoritative role of choosing the right moments and when to attack something. Actually working with teammates and doing a lot of things that are really the hallmarks of a high-level player. It's Akula. And I didn't see a lot of those moments from him before. He's always been a great shooter, but he's often been given kind of a standoff sniper role.
Right.
And for me, it's hard to impress from there. To me, it's like, okay, you hit your shots,
Yeah.
and then you're doing your job. And if you're doing your job, that's great, but I'm looking
'Cause you're
for people
doing
who
your
are
job.
making those hard
Right.
trades like Impact. And it seems like with the kind of the new lineup they've got, or perhaps because they got to start off with 10s or whatever it is, Akula is playing a little bit more on the edge like that.
Huh.
And it's really working for him, and I like it. And I think Noble could definitely do well with more plays like that coming out from their players.
Sure, absolutely. Again, one thing I was actually kind of worried about, speaking of the kind of on-edge plays from Noble, was right at the end there, the kind of response that I believe was Commander J going to go push over the railroad tracks, just like happened last time.
Yeah,
but
that
this
was a
time they
bad
went
call.
very aggressive, and they sent a lot of members over there, losing a couple to the members of Caren Tigers. So for a second, I was like, oh, this might tilt, but they got it back, they regained it, and again, doing a fantastic job overall. There they are on your team. Look, I mean, even though they just won 2 up, you know, again, it's still around the game. Anything could happen. They know they're not over-celebrating. High Voltage is on the right, Caren Tigers on the left. It's kind of hard to see. They both have yellow shirts on. And there is the Rumble Champion prize that they are playing for, the trophy, the title, and $45,000. Now we are into our next tank picking. Caren Tigers up first. David, what do we got?
Caren Tigers picking 3 T-54s, an RU-251 and T-32. Say it and so, LTTB. What's
Maybe
the other
another
one?
LTT?
E25? Makes more sense on defense than it did on offense.
You're right.
Noble, 4 T-54 lightweights, an RU-251, and something in an AMX-12T.
Something.
A T-32.
And a...
Sometimes they use a T-21, actually. in this kind of situation.
Can't be hedging
But
your bets.
honestly,
You just gotta go for
all
it.
three of them make a certain amount of sense.
An M44.
Now, that is not what they do in the past.
All right. Well, we're talking about this is the time to pull out everything you got. This might be the last time we're seeing this format.
Last time I saw him do that, Germ missed a lot of shots in an M44. I get to say things like that because
Good.
Germ knows that I think highly of him.
Yeah.
And all of us like to pick on him for his questionable M44 play.
I mean,
But if it's Martian there, he was very good last time.
Hmm.
And it is Martian there.
Oh, there we go.
It is.
Well, let's see if that's going to be the deciding factor in that M44. We will see how Noble does on offense. If Caren Tiger can hold 2 on defense, that'll be fantastic for them. Tied all up. Let's get into it, ladies and gentlemen, and take a look at not what we've got for tanks, but just the map, so we can ponder where they're going to move on their opening moves. Done.
Some of the biggest questions will be where are they going to put the E25? They can put him in really,
put him
really
anywhere.
weird places like
Yeah.
this because he's small. In here, although that one can get proxy. Here, there's a lot of different places, but either way, I expect him to be probably lighting the 1 cap. That is the most effective use. Actually, hold up. He can go right up here, which would be really hilarious because that's where EL Gaming put their tier 6 that completely threw off.
Oh, we were talking about.
Kongdu.
We're talking about in the
Yeah.
in the worlds.
In fact, let's shut down the map and let's just watch this guy drive. Nope. No. No. No.
What?
Well, he's going to be invisible here.
That's amazing.
It's the same thing, right? He's just out in the
stealth.
open because it's a camo. It's just math. And the rest of them are all just bushed up and waiting.
Wow.
Whoever comes over that
Gonna get lit up.
is not going to have a good day.
Here we go, Marsh in this M44 all the way in the back, going up the western side, the 1 line with the rest of his team at T32 in the center road, watching that. T54 hanging in the back. And the rest of them, we're just kind of slow playing it right now, obviously going for that northern cap. We haven't seen, again, you know, certain maps kind of develop certain patterns as far as which, oh, here goes a shot going out there. Just a blind fire? Nothing.
You know, if Noble does this correctly, not too aggressively, they're going to see the C25 fast enough, and he's in a very easy shot solution for a lot of their team.
Really?
They should be a very cautious poke here just to see if they're getting lit, and if they are, they need to figure out why. And that is the trap that Kongdu fell in, is they spent way too much time
He's like
figuring
4 minutes. Oh, here we go.
Adam.
Militant now was the one to go over, and that RE251 is
Are they running? They're just giving it up. They're just giving it
No,
up.
they go. They're
That's
afraid.
the whole point of this.
Caren Tigers is out. They're like, oh, we're probably
No,
done here.
that was just colossal mistake. They
Obelisk
had
now
it.
getting lit up. 447 points of damage there in that E25. Let's see if he makes that alive. Militant now taking his spot. He's like, you know what? I'm the king of the hill here. 254 points of damage. 1 more shot, and he will go down. He has made it now into the bush, but he's if he pops over the side, find out. There it is. Kula picking that one up, and
There goes 7 points.
and that is where really we can talk about where that will fall short. I mean, if that tank gets spotted like that, and your trap doesn't work because you back out, that's 7 points gone.
So here's the thing, is that means Caren Tigers has to flex under the south because they can't do a direct attack, which means it's going to give Noble time to put on cap pressure and draw them to them, and anything that comes after them is going to be too little by itself. And if Noble understands all of this and counter responds, it's GG real soon here. Let's see how much motion we're getting out of it, because Caren Tigers, if they want to stand a chance at 30 seconds, they're going to have to short it and go right through the middle. And there's a T-54, and it's Commander J just waiting for him. Commander J's already scouted him from there because he sees it coming. And now over half of Caren Tigers is in the south, just trying to figure out how they're going to get over there and do anything about this.
And now Akula is about to join the cap, putting 3 members. The cap pass is going through, now down to 9 seconds. Caren Tigers have to find a way to reset this. The T-32 or the T-54 is over. That's actually one way to do it. They get a couple shots into Akula there, but a lot of the points are on Dodo in the back. Now down to 2. 1 more second here, and Caren Tigers is going to lose it. There's a couple of resets, but again, it's not on the right target. All the points are on Germ and Dodo. Down to 0, and Noble has just picked up a very
Commander J's block.
a very
that was the best.
amazing victory on offense onto steps. Hold on. Let's just.
Well, if they go to a tie somehow, well, we know that Noble won the fastest offense.
Oh my
well,
gosh.
They already won the only one, but still.
Yeah,
that's definitely the fastest.
Absolutely. Now, but let's talk about what just happened there, because you have Caren Tigers who put all of their resources over the railroad tracks
Yep.
with that E25.
Yep.
This is the trap.
Yep.
It's going to work.
Yep.
One member comes over. They're like, whoa.
Just
Why?
here's the match
It's
back.
interesting.
Because it was a great trap. It's a gimmick, for sure.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't run more than once. Not really.
Right.
And you're spending 7 points on that gimmick. It
Right.
better work.
Right.
And they
And
didn't
it
get
did.
the 8-point trade out of it.
It looked like
That's
it was
all they
going
had
to
do.
work.
Just stay, and it was over.
I mean, I can't see why they would do that. Only one member popped up. It's very. I'm not. Maybe
Makes no sense. The other thing is, once that happens, and this is the thing, is when you look at these strategies, you can get easily transfixed on the first thing in front of you. Like, ooh, shiny. Let's set a trap over the rail line, right? And that's all great. Until you then look at what happens after that, right? So you have to build a strat, and then you go, okay, what happens
if this goes well?
This doesn't work.
Oh, sure.
What do we do then? And then they have to look at it and go, okay, well, we rotate around the south. And it's like, well, what if they see us doing that? And they put everybody on cap.
Right.
What do we do then?
Right.
And at that point, if their answer was anything other than lose, they just didn't understand what happened. They gave them Renault, and it didn't even matter.
No.
Noble didn't have to cap at that point. They already got 2 free tanks,
Right.
and it was just going to keep going down one by one by one by one.
And the other thing is, I mean, also like on the other end, you also have to decide when you get there. What if it does go right and you do get the trap? Then also, what do you do from there? Because obviously,
absolutely.
you can get to a point and be like, oh, this went well. Oh, wait, but we're still in a bad position and it's not quite worth it.
I have definitely seen strategies where the entire amount of planning went to, we'll get this guy in the beginning.
And then, whoops.
And it's clear that they didn't think at all about what happens after that. Because they're like, free tank,
they
right,
got
bro?
that tank,
And
right.
then, no, because they go against, somebody like Noble was in the past, like Cunningham's or something. And it's like, okay, well, you got our free tank, but we understood what would happen if that tank went down, and here's our answer. And it's like,
what are you going to do now?
Put in the work.
Sure. Well,
And Caren Tigers, they've definitely shown a spark of a number of things throughout this tournament so far. But are they ready to face a team like Noble? I'm not sure. I'm really not sure.
So
They'd have to
far,
step
it's
it up a
no.
lot further than what they're doing
Yeah.
right now. It's
Yeah.
certainly not out of the realm of possibility because they got to get off steps for us to know how they actually fare. Because really nobody really handles Noble on steps these days.
No. Yeah, I know. Noble, again, doing a fantastic job. It's kind of like last time. We said this during the season one. Just ban steps from Noble. Like,
Same lineups.
Just ban it. There we
Across
go.
the board.
Looks like Caren and Noble are going to go ahead and try the same things again. I don't think Caren can run the same trap unless Noble really just was like, oh, what was that?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That would be actually. Sorry, it's not the exact same thing. They dropped the E25 and added an LTTP.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Which we've seen them do before.
So
but
no trap.
You're still trying to play steps with 2 tier 7s instead of a tier 8 and a 6, and it's just dangerous. They do have a window if they can kind of coax Noble into a certain place, then take those 2 LTTPs and try and solo the RU251 is what they've been putting down there. But honestly, an RU251 driven by Militant, 2 LTTBs, it's still a close match. It's not.
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth. You're spending 14 points after 8.
Well, another thing also we can touch on as we kind of get this really quickly, Commander J's block right there at the end was absolutely fantastic. We'll talk about that in a sec. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we are into the next battle. It is Caren Tigers versus Noble. Noble is up 3-0. Let's see if they can make it 4-0 in steps, or if Caren could just pick up 1 and relieve some of the pressure. Let's get right into it and take a look at what the opening lineups is going to be from both these teams and where they're going to head.
Well, same lineups we saw before, obviously. We already discussed that. We will see where they move immediately off the bat. So what we saw, I'll draw it on here. Commander J pulled up here as all of Caren Tigers for the most part was coming down. And right here at this point, Commander J just drove right in front of him broadside. And they all
like,
came to a stop in the trench. And that's... It didn't really have a huge impact on the map. Just had a very interesting kind of a snarky impact.
Caren Tiger going for
We got a boost.
Going for the boost.
We got a boost, ladies and gentlemen.
Push B for boost. Let's see if they're going to make it. I'm sure they will.
I've never seen one where all the tanks weren't a uniform.
It looks
before.
really cool. Yeah,
It looks like an actual train.
It's awesome. It's fantastic. He did make it up there. Now the rest of the team going through. Now Noble was actually pushing very aggressively.
Ooh, southeast.
Over on the southeast side. And I was actually saying, like, man, if they would have kept going, they would have found the boost, and that would have been catastrophic for Caren Tigers.
They actually did that against Noble, I think. Either Noble did it against them or they did it against Noble.
Oh, really?
But I remember somebody was trying, or somebody went real far to try and catch the boost. I think it was Noble that decided not to boost, and High Voltage actually set up a bunch of 54s down here in G7, where it could fire on the boost and then send somebody out to scout. And they were trying to really bank on getting that shot because Noble was known for the boost. And it didn't work out.
Gotcha. Well,
Noble flirting with an Eastern play.
Yep.
Now, Madame will be an issue there. Kind of. He's really not using the best spot for this, and he is at more of a risk than he should be. It's not necessarily a huge one, but he can stay safe here until he fires. Anytime he tries to fire, he's going to be taking a huge risk. And if he goes down, or Noble decides to draw the fight elsewhere, or if Noble just really drives underneath him, through the valley,
worthless.
He's not particularly valuable because it's already a 5-on-6 when it comes to tier 8s. And that's just it's strange. However, with these LTTBs, this is one of the better ways to run them. You've got one doing a lead scout, a second doing a trailing scout, so you can kind of eat up more and more map control while you rotate as quickly as possible. Problem is they're opening up and they're kind of leaving their 32 behind. If they want to play this kind of game, you have to support the 32 a little bit more closely than they are. You could very easily feed him. As long as Noble doesn't stall out in their push here, they'll get right through it.
Okay.
But there is a chance that Noble will be kind of taken aback by the weird positions. It's not something they're used to, and it can all start deconstructing from there. They've got Canadian Impact on cap. Madame hasn't shown his hand yet. Although Commander J saw him, and he gets lit up.
547 points of damage already in that 251. He has to retreat now.
He's trying to come down.
Getting off the side, but it looks like he's not going to be able to get off at all. Another chunk of damage there. He does take a shot, I believe, on the Canadian Impact, and actually misses. 88 seconds on the clock, and now we are going to see what Caren Tiger does in response, because they're about to lose this RU-251. He does get the shot in the Canadian Impact, but one more, and there it is. The T-32 taking the 251 down. One tank for Caren Tigers.
32 is lonely.
Let's see how it can go.
All they got to do is send 1 or 2 tanks to clean up the 32 and then just play a control game and manage those 54s because, again, they have more tier 8s naturally and they kill them.
There we go. David Decamore is going to be that T-32 is all isolated by himself, and here comes the rest of Noble collapsing down upon him, and once he goes down, it'll then be a 7-on-5. Decamore returning because the rest of his team is here and waiting. Canadian Impact is now being surrounded. Decamore, one more shot from Dodo, and he will go down, but Decamore picks up Canadian right before he goes down, and he goes down to Mars. It is now a 6-on-4 as Militant picks up Shino, and now Reno should go down very, very quickly. Militant gonna find that one. Just 3 tanks remain for Caren Tigers. Still 6 up for Noble. Noble showing that they are the king of steps. If you're gonna play Noble, just a message to everyone out there, ban steps from them. Look at their amazing dominance, both on offense and on defense. About to pick up a 4th victory here. And going into the 5th match, I mean, that is a huge, huge tall order for Caren Tigers to try to come back from. Militant being chased by Opulence Gear. One more shot. No, the Noble! He was going in and trying to save him. Doesn't quite make it, but does pick up the kill. And that is going to be 4 victories for Noble against 0 for Caren Tigers here.
That's the start you want.
That's domination.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Now they need one more to close it all out.
Yep. Going to the finals.
But either way, they've now spent less time playing than EL has. They're going to have to play immediately after this.
Right.
With a small break.
Right.
So it's very important that they not go the distance with this.
Just
so far, they're right on track.
Done.
Because otherwise, they'd be extremely tired, and they're almost virtually guaranteed a loss.
Sure. Because
it's just how
exhaustion.
it is.
They've already,
You play for a couple hours, and it's just so hard to keep playing.
Yeah.
So hard.
Well, again, like you're saying, they are on track. They are 4-0 now against Caren Tigers, and we're going into Himmelsdorf. Another map they have been particularly good at. Again, they did amazing during the finals against High Voltage on this map. We saw them play it already today against EL in the beginning. So they already have that practice, and I'm expecting just another victory here for Noble. There it is. There they are on your screen. just kind of getting ready for this next one. Again, not really, celebrating. Again, they're in the mode, they're in the game because this is not
business.
If they win this, they still have to play again against EL for the $45,000 for the title of the champions of the Pacific Rumble. And just kind of that bragging right of winning not only the NA champions, but this one as well. Here's that boost going out, some of the highlights, getting that RU-251 on top. But it really didn't matter at the end because he just got spotted. There you go. All the lasers you guys can see right there on your screen just pointing at that single tank. He did get a little bit of damage, I believe, into Canadian Impact
the wrong spot. But
just, he had to dive down extremely quickly. And then just after that, there is the story. 3 tanks remaining, now down to 2, still 6 up for Noble, ending with 5 at the end, only losing 2 tanks the entire time. A fantastic way to finish this one off. It is just going to be, I mean, this is going to be absolutely great. And here is the map for Himmelsdorf. Again, we've seen it now, I think, 4 times today. We've seen Himmelsdorf play it a lot. This is the map that they, people really like to play. We talked about why, possibly because, you kind of almost are quote-unquote guaranteed those 2 defensive wins and possibly want to pick this one out or take one on the offense.
EL loves to play Himmelsdorf, as does apparently just a lot of the Asian teams like to play it. We've kind of avoided it more in NA than most have.
Okay.
But out of all those teams, Noble does play it.
Yes.
So
yes.
They got 2 maps they really like. I mean, both of these are the maps that that are kind of their bread and butter. It's what they capitalized on against high voltage for the most part.
Yep.
And I don't think that we're going to see Caren Tiger be able to really put forward the kind of resistance on Himmelsdorf that high voltage was capable of. And now it's a different day, and it's a different setting, and that is everything. Because high voltage may beat him other times and get absolutely shreked by him sometimes. Noble may play up or down, depending on day and location and who they're playing and yada, yada, yada.
A lot of factors.
But we're looking at a really, really sketchy situation where Caren Tigers is going to be on offense, I
Oh, no.
And they're going to have to go against Noble on defense.
Oh, no.
And it's just Ripperino.
Not a good thing indeed. I personally, this season, casting, have not seen anyone come back from a 4-0 deficit.
Tier 7s.
We've seen a lot of people come up. So yeah, that is definitely the theme we've seen so far. But it just hasn't been working out.
No, and it actually gets into a type of meta that starts getting very easy to read because the team has one look. And it's just tier 7s. And tier 7s,
we know how to counter this.
When you understand the strategy of it, it gets real obvious real fast.
Gotcha.
Your 5 have to be together. You can't spread them because you have 2 7s. So the 7s have to do all the flank scouting, but you have an advantage on them because you have an 8 and a 6 versus 2 7s. I could go on about this all day. It's an inherent weakness already.
Gotcha. Just
that's
right off
the
the bat.
The 12T actually stands a chance at beating an LTTB head-to-head.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that sounds like a pretty big weakness. What are the benefits of it? Why would you bring
on Himmelsdorf? I don't think there are any.
Wow. Well,
I mean,
there we
you can
go.
get around the back of the hill pretty quick, but you can do that with a 12T.
Right. So what are you going to do from there? Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're about to see Noble versus Caren Tigers. Noble up 4-0. They're on defense. Let's see if they can close this one out and go into the finals for $45,000. Or can Caren Tigers come back in what would be a miracle? Ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into it and look at the opening moves from both of our teams.
Caren Tigers with 2 5100s, 3 IS3s, 2 LTTPs. Noble with 2 5100s, 4 IS3s, and an AMX 12T. Both teams start their initial deployments. I don't think we're going to see anything special here. Northeastern control, what they've always done. Caren Tigers have to spread out, have to spend a lot of time. Give Noble the chance to get those shots. Noble's going to change up. Noble's going to change up big time. This is extremely interesting. 2 5100s down the 1 line, an IS3 down the 2, an IS3 on the inside. This is old. This is actually like season 3, kind of season 4 old.
Yeah.
Where you're taking spread control and eating up the 1 through 3 line in order to control and guarantee they have to go into that northern cap there. And then you have in the lower half, we've got an LTTB getting caught out. It's already spotted both 5100s here. And it's separated. It cannot get back. This LTTB should be a guaranteed kill. 1 5100's trying to get away. He's going to get shot at by 2 5100s. Dota's about to pull around the corner. He will get at least 1 shot in.
And Akula's going to try to cut him off.
But he's dancing on it. He's got it right now.
Oh, the shot though goes into the LTTB there from Dota. 1 shot from the 5100 going down. A second shot going through a, yeah, that was a beautiful shot through the train there, now dropping below half health in that LTGB. Meanwhile, Akula and Polly head-to-head in the 5100 battle. Who's going to come out on top? It looks like it's going to be Polly picking up that kill, but right behind Akula is Milton, who, no, the shot goes right into the rubble. And it looks like Polly might be able to get out
trick
of there.
shot from Dodo.
Oh,
all the way
what
out
a
of the
shot!
line.
Man, Dodo is on point right now. But meanwhile, Caren Tigers have tried to put a very fast cap over on the Northern. Let's see how Noble is going to be able to respond to this. Like Tier 8 picks up an IS-3 there. 20 seconds on the clock. Reno putting those shots up indeed. And it looks like Noble might be in a bit of a predicament. They do not have enough tanks to come back. A nice reset there from Commander J, taking down Dekamori. But Reno is in a good position. There's a lot of cap points built on him. The LTB doing his best to try to pick this one up. Marsh picks up Lycan. I'm not sure this will be enough. Noble and Commander do have to push extremely aggressively here. They're going to have to go out in the open. They're going to have to be exposed because they need Reno to go down, or Caren Tigers is going to pick this up. No, Reno actually just bails off the cap, does not want to have anything to do with these two IS-3s, and that looks like that is going to seal the fate for Caren Tigers. 5 tanks remaining for Noble against the 4 for Caren. Caren, though, is in the lead HP-wise, but this 5100 and IS-3 should be taking down Reno any second now. Like Tier 8 takes down Marsh in that 12 team, but Dodo going to find another kill, taking Reno right down. Commander J taking 408 points of damage to his IS-3, back around the corner, just trying to get a shot. 1,400 points of damage from an IS-3 into another IS-3. That is a huge chunk, a massive roll there coming out from Commander J. Germ going down from the LTTB in the back, and he's going to finish off Aki right there. And it is all over for Caren Tigers. Are you talking about the damage that just came out from the IS-3?
Something happened there. Like, we got a little lag burp or something, because that was impossible.
I was 1,300 points damage.
Yeah, and one shot from the IS-3, it can't be done.
No Amarax, no nothing.
No, if an Amarax, it blows up.
Great. So
did he get one shot?
Nope.
Oh, okay. If he was still alive after the 1300, something happened that we didn't see. Either way, the summary is that's pretty much irrelevant. Honestly, the summary is
going down.
There were some mistakes made by Noble that they really could have been made to regret by Caren Tigers, but Caren Tigers made bigger mistakes, allowed them right back into the game, and Noble, easy skins, easy life. 5-0. Moving on to the finals match against DL Gaming.
Here's the thing. Every single match tonight has gone to a tiebreaker. Aside from this one, Noble showing complete dominance here, showing that they are the team right now to beat. They are the team who has it on lock, and they're the ones like, all right, guys, you want to play this game right now? Come at us. We are on fire. We are ready to go. They're doing a fantastic job right now, showing that they deserve this $45,000, and also just coming off the high of winning the WGLNA championships has to be also helping them out. Dodo, Commander J, Militant are alive. They are on defense. They just have to wait. It's really up to this LTTB from Caren Tigers to make the move. There's not a move that he can make unless he can just switch out his barrel for an auto rifle that shoots.
It's just your time.
There you go. Tank turrets turn the wrong way. He gets spotted. 438 points of damage coming out from Militant. Dodo and Commander J coming to back him up. The shot actually missing. A nice little chunk of damage there going into that 5100 from Noble, but Dodo wants to finish this one out. And another shot, no damage going onto this LTTB. Finally, there it is. Commander J going to finish it up. No, it's going to be Dodo. A long ending there, but a sweet ending nonetheless for Noble. That is a 5-0 victory against Caren Tigers, and they are going to be going into the finals, facing off against EL Gaming for a chance at $45,000 and the title of the champions for the Pacific Rumble event. I mean, there's really not much to talk about there because that was just what we saw on Steps, and it just kind of translated over to Himmelsdorf. On defense, you said there were some slight mistakes that Noble made, but in the end, absolute, just beautiful.
A little bit of overcommitment. Marsh probably should have been going back to manage the cap. Yada, yada. I'm nitpicking.
Yep.
And I really need a map to really
yeah,
sit there and draw all the details. That's what I do. It's like kind of literally my job.
It's your job.
So that's it.
That's it. So
no real struggle there from Noble.
Not at all. Now
Get
we're
it done easy.
There you guys see on your screen.
See if they crack a smile finally.
Yeah. Come on, guys. You just won, and now you're going into the finals. This has got to feel good. Let's see someone high five.
Man, that venue's a seizure waiting to happen.
Maybe some handshake. There we go. Any smiles? No, nothing. Militant? No.
Boys?
Commander J? No.
Boys?
Comps? No. No.
Nah, they're still all business.
Look at
they're
that.
Like,
Yeah,
little drink. little walk, and we get back and play EL.
Oh,
again.
hey.
Oh, but Germ always
Hey,
smiles.
Germ smiling.
No, Germ smiles when he loses. That doesn't count.
Okay. Well, I'm going to say it counts, Germ. That was a fantastic smile indeed. Commander J's cracking a smile there.
He
there
also
we go.
smiles all the time.
All right. Well, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to. They're smiley people. But you're right, David. They are still in business because they are still. They still need to win this next match. It's not over yet for them, and they don't have as long as a break as EL has had. So they really, like you said, need to get it over, which is great. Best case scenario for them. And now it is all up to our last final match of the night for the Pacific Rumble event. It is going to be EL Gaming versus Noble Gaming to decide who gets that $45,000. Ladies and gentlemen, it is coming up. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back.